Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's work a little bit more with our JSON library. We saw how to serialize and deserialize objects into JSON and vice versa, how to read data from JSON and deserialize it back to objects or POJOs. During an interview or technical interview, you may come across different scenarios. Suppose we have JSON file. I have created a data.json file that has a list of users, list of JSON objects. I think we have 5 objects here, 5 JSON objects. Right now, we created a class that that has exact information or fields as of the given JSON information. We had a class that has ID, that has a name, that had a height, date and time, date, and had another object address. So that the JSON library automatically maps our information that we read from the file here from the file, and when we read values, JSON library automatically maps the array of JSON objects to the list of users. So suppose we consume an API and we receive this information or this JSON data from an API, or it comes from database, or we are given as a file or as a string. Say the interviewer wants us to print only the names of the users, these names. For that, we don't have to create complex classes or entities. We don't have to create a user and inside user. We don't have to create address and coordinates. And from the list of users, we don't have to fetch only the names. That's going to be a little bit complex since the interviewer wants just a list of a string or a list of name. How can we do that? Say we are given this data. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and paste it as a string, but later on we can read it from this file, or we can read from a REST API. So I'm going to go to the main and delete all the codes we had previously. We don't need them anymore. I'm gonna delete these functions also. We just have our main method and the object mapper here. So what I'm gonna do is I will create a string using the triple quotation to paste the string, keeping its format string. Let's call it JSON data equal to triple quotation, and we can paste our JSON file here, or JSON data here. So we have this JSON as a string. As I said, you may be asked to consume an API or whatever. So the object mapper has a method called read3, which is going to accept this JSON data, or we can pass this string. And what it's going to do is going to create a tree of type JSON node. Each node in the tree is going to be an object inside our JSON. So basically this is going to be a node, and this another object is going to be a node. And using those nodes, which is of type JSON node, we can retrieve any of the information we want. For example, we want to retrieve only the names. We can access those names using their key values by traversing over the tree. So let's go and call that method object mapper dot read tree, and we are going to pass our JSON data. This is going to return the root of the tree, which is of type JSON node. Let's introduce it to a local variable JSON node. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call it root. So then we are going to traverse over this root node and retrieve the data. Say we want to retrieve the list of strings. Let's create a list of strings, call it names equal to new array list. Let's loop or traverse over this tree and fetch the data for JSON node. Let's call it temp in root node. Temp dot path, I think, yeah, path. We can pass the key that we want to read. Say we want to read the username, copy that and paste it here. What it returns, let's see what it returns. It is returning a JSON node, but we can read it as toString or as text. Yeah, as text that returns a string. Okay, username. Then we can add it to our list. Names.add. Let's add the username, and finally we are going to print names.forEach. System.out. Finger crossed. Yeah, we can fetch the names of the users from our JSON without creating this complex POJOs or Java classes. Say the user want to, but instead of having this string inside our code, let's read it from the data. Since we have data.json here, we can read it from this file. Files utility class, we have file and we have files dot, I think, read string or read a string. It accepts a path, so the path is JSON data dot JSON. It's complaining. Okay, it requires a path, but we provided a string. So let's see what we can do here. String path, or maybe paths. Yeah, we have a utility class here, paths dot get URI. Let's call get and let's pass our data, which is data.json. It works, yeah, it works. Let's run it. Yeah, so we can read the information from the data. Now let's say another scenario. The interviewer may ask you to not only print the names of the user, say he want to print the names of the user alongside their zip code or their city. Okay, so let's do that. For that, we have to create a class to hold these two information. Let's call it name cd or name and cd. I'm gonna call the class name cd. This will have private string name, which holds the username, and private string city, the user city. I'm gonna add the constructors, all arc constructor, no arc constructor, a data, and builder. So we're gonna hold the information in this class. Let's go to our main. While traversing over the tree, we don't need this list of users anymore, a list of a string, but instead we're going to have list of names, name city, names, let's call it name city, new array list. So let's go to the JSON. So this is going to be a node in our tree, an object. From this node, from each node, we are interested in username and user address. From this user address, we are interested in city. Okay, let's copy this one. Let's read this user address first. Again, we are going to call the temp.path. We are going to first read the address, which is itself an object. From this, again, we are going to call the path. We're going to this time call the city, this one. So copy that, go to main. Where's main? Here. So again, read it as a string, as text. I'm going to read it as text and store it in a string city equal to temp. So we're going to add it to our names city list dot add names city dot builder. We're gonna first add the name dot name username dot city. We're gonna add the city and put a semicolon here. Now here we're going to name city dot for each. We're going to print everything. System.out.println. So let's run that. We could successfully retrieve only the usernames and their cities from given JSON object. So this way you can play around working with JSON in Java using the Jackson library. Thank you guys for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.